Eleanor Hart was 65 when the fire took everything. But the true destruction began the moment she realized her own son had closed his door to her. It started on a quiet autumn evening in Ashwood, Virginia. A night so ordinary it almost felt scripted. The air smelled faintly of rain, and the neighborhood was still. Eleanor was standing by her kitchen window, cradling a mug of chamomile tea, when something sharp and unfamiliar sliced through the calm. The scent of smoke. At first she thought it was a neighbor burning leaves. But then she heard it, a brittle, snapping sound, like paper tearing in the dark. She pushed the living room door open, and the world turned orange. Flames curled up the curtains with greedy fingers, licking the walls, turning her home into a living, breathing monster. The smoke was thick, choking. She stumbled backward, her heartbeat pounding in her ears. The fire alarm, silent for months, offered no warning. A dead battery. A small mistake. A lifetime of lost by the time she burst out the back door, clutching her worn purse. The night had already swallowed her home. Sirens screamed in the distance, but she knew before the trucks arrived. It was over. 40 years of memories. Gone. All that remained was the smell of burning wood, and the portrait of her late husband blackened and cracked on the wall. She spent the first night with an elderly neighbor. But the second night, she called her son. Michael lived 40 minutes away in Willow Grove, a polished neighborhood where every blade of grass stood at attention. He answered on the second ring, his voice warm but distant. "Mom, of course. Come stay here until you figure things out," he said. Eleanor clung to those words like a lifeline. But when she arrived, suitcase trembling in her hand, the warmth melted away. Avery, his fiancé, greeted her with a perfect smile that didn't reach her eyes. The house smelled of vanilla candles and lavender detergent. Not a home, a showroom. They sat her on the edge of a white sofa while Avery spoke in carefully chosen words. Privacy, our space, our rhythm as a couple. Michael stayed quiet, his jaw tense. It wasn't a conversation. It was a verdict. Extended stay hotels can be cozy, Avery said sweetly. Michael offered a few $100s. And the woman who had raised him alone, who'd patched every wound and weathered every storm, found herself standing outside their house, no place to go, as their perfect red door shut softly behind her. For 3 nights, she stayed at a roadside motel called the Charlotte Inn. Its neon sign flickered like a dying heartbeat. The walls smelled of damp carpet and cheap bleach. Each night, she lay on a thin mattress, staring at the ceiling, listening to footsteps echo down the hallway. She wasn't just homeless. She was untethered. That was when she remembered the card. A faded business card tucked inside her wallet for 4 decades, yellowed at the edges but still legible. Daniel Whitaker, a man who once held her hand under the stars and swore he'd come back for her. She'd laughed then, but she'd never thrown the card away. Her hands trembled as she dialed the number. She expected a dead line, a stranger. But then, "Whitaker," a deep voice answered. She froze. That voice, she'd know it anywhere. "Daniel," she whispered. "It's Eleanor." There was a heartbeat of silence. Then softly, "Eleanor Hart, where are you?" "Charlotte Inn," she managed. "I shouldn't have called. I just didn't know." "Don't move," he said, his voice cutting through the noise of the night. "I'm coming to get you." She hung up, stunned. Rain began to fall outside, a slow drizzle tapping against the window like impatient fingers. Minutes crawled by, then an hour. Every shadow in the parking lot made her pulse quicken. She hadn't seen this man in 40 years. What would he think? What would she say? At exactly 10:42 p.m., headlights cut through the rain. A sleek black Jaguar rolled to a stop in front of the motel. A figure stepped out. Older, broader, silver hair glinting beneath the buzzing streetlight. Even through the storm, she knew it was him. When their eyes met, time folded in on itself. The motel disappeared. The fire, the loneliness, all of it. "You finally came back," Daniel said. His voice wasn't loud, but it was steady. Real. Eleanor felt her chest tighten. All the years between them, all the nights she'd whispered his name to no one, hung in the air. She wanted to run to him and run away all at once. He opened the door of the Jaguar without another word. And Eleanor Hart, with nothing but a small suitcase and a broken past, stepped toward a future she couldn't yet imagine. Daniel's estate rose out of the trees like a secret. Gated, silent, lit softly from within. Not ostentatious, elegant in the way only old money or hard-earned dreams could be. Inside, the house was warm. Wood and glass. A place that looked like it had been waiting. As she stood in the doorway dripping rainwater, he watched her. Not like someone seeing an old flame, but like someone seeing home for the first time. In the kitchen, as the storm hammered the windows, she confessed everything. The fire, the betrayal, the loneliness that crept in like smoke. He listened, not interrupting, not judging. When she fell silent, Daniel reached across the counter and took her hand. "You should have called me years ago. I didn't think you'd still care," she whispered. "I never stopped." For the first time in years, Eleanor slept without fear. Weeks passed. The house, once quiet, filled with the soft rhythm of two people rediscovering a shared heartbeat. Daniel showed her the gardens he planted, but never shared with anyone. She made him chicken soup and laughed at how he tried to pretend he didn't like sweets. Then the phone rang. "Michael. Mum," he said. "Careful now. Avery and I talked. Maybe you could stay with us after all. In the guest room. Just for a while." Eleanor looked around the sunlit kitchen, at the flowers Daniel brought her every Friday, at the warmth she thought she'd never feel again. "No, sweetheart," she said softly. "I've already found where I belong." Michael didn't understand. He might never. But that was okay. One crisp November afternoon, Eleanor walked down a path of amber leaves in Daniel's garden, wearing a simple blue dress. He was waiting beneath the archway of climbing roses, just as he had promised. 4 decades late, but right on time. Sometimes the fire doesn't just destroy. Sometimes it clears the ground for something new. And sometimes, if you're very, very lucky, the person you lost becomes the person who finds you.